All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual who is in a very intriguing Rizin 35 bout, which is set to go on April the 17th, and it is for the featherweight championship. We have Juntaro Ushiku and Yutaka Saito running it back, and very happy to be talking to the reigning and defending champion and having Juntaro back on the show. How's his day going so far?
福選手、まずは今の調子はいかがでしょう？
そうですね。怪我もなく、体調もバッチリです。もうめちゃくちゃ順調に仕上がってます。
Yeah, so thank you for asking. I'm absolutely injury free. I feel great. I've had a great fight camp, so I'm nothing but ready.
Yeah, and you were able to have a bout under the Deep banner in between, but under the Rizin banner, running it back right away with the same opponent. Did you figure you would be having this sequel bout here, or were you maybe looking at other opposition? Like, what are your thoughts on the rematch being booked, like when it was set up?
牛久選手が、ライジンのタイトルマッチで勝ってから、ディープの防衛戦を一回挟んで、また同じ相手と、初防衛戦をすることになるんですが、斉藤選手と初防衛戦をするっていうのは感覚としてはあったんですか？それとも違う相手と初防衛するというふうに認識していましたか？
そうですね。これちょっとどこまで言っていいのかわかんないんですけど、一応リマッチの方向で、ディープの防衛戦終わった後、話が進んでたので、ずっと僕の中では斉藤選手とやるっていうつもりでいました。
So, for me, I was told that my next fight in Rizin will be the fight against Saito. So that's kind of what I had in mind. So even after the deep championship, I had an idea that I would be facing Saito.
I guess that kind of makes sense because it was a relatively short notice kind of affair when you initially got the shot and everything, and just, yeah, I guess it would kind of make sense there. So, yeah, that kind of makes sense for sure. But, yeah, an intriguing bout in between, holding titles for different organizations at the same time, and just wondering just the thoughts overall in that last fight at Deep 105, getting the split decision win over Kuya Kanda.
ディープの、今回の初大事な防衛戦をやる前にディープで一回試合がいるのですが、試合も非常に厳しい試合というかスプリットで、防衛した試合になるんですが、試合の時は、どういう調子だったのか、どういう感覚でしたか、ご自身で手応えとしては。
そうですね。調子は、前線の怪我もあったんですけど、ただ一応、そのディープさんの防衛戦が先に決まっていたので、だから自分の中では本当できる、範囲で、めちゃくちゃ追い込んでやってきたので、万全で追い込みとか調整できたかっていうと、なんとも言いづらいんですけど、僕のできる範囲で、調整はやってきましたね。はい。
Yeah, so I was dealing with some injuries at the time, but the thing is, I had some obligations with Deep, and I had to fulfill my obligations. I had to be a man of my word. So, despite not being 100% prepared, I went in there, did the best I could. I prepared the best I could under the given situation. So, that was, I headed into that fight with that kind of situation.
So was the timeline, was it like a structured thing where you had to get a certain amount of bouts in the same year? Is that contract still kind of going on with Deep and just competing with both Rizin and Deep? Like, what's the situation with that?
結局そのディープとライジンで両方の団体で戦うっていう中でどうしても起きてきてしまう仕組みというような感じですか？
そうですね。はい。僕の中ではすごくプラスに捉えてますね。はい。
Yeah, it's definitely something like that. But for me, it's a positive thing for me. I look at it as a very positive thing, and we'll just leave it there.
Yeah, but so is the plan still to compete between both Deep and Rizin, or is it just solely competing with Rizin going forward here and just defending that belt?
牛久選手の、計画としては、またこれ、ライジンとディープ両方で、こう、戦っていくというような感覚ですか？
そうですね。まあ、あんまり先のことはよく考えてないんですけど、まあ、とりあえず、まあ、次の試合、本当に全部かけて戦うので、まあ、次の試合終わったらちょっといろいろ考えようかなって感じですね。まあ、特に今のところ、まあ、これっていうのは決まってないです。
You know, so I like to focus on one fight at a time. So I don't really think about what kind of plans I have ahead of me. But, you know, I'm probably going to think of that after I'm done with this fight and sit down and think what to do next. So as of right now, I'm just focused on this upcoming fight and to give my best for this fight.
And I'm wondering, with this being a rematch, is the approach largely going to be the same? Because it seemed like the first fight unfolded in a pretty favorable sort of way, or is there the anticipation Saito is going to maybe amend the game plan a bit? Like, what are your thoughts on the approach to the rematch versus the, you know, approach in the first fight?
じゃあ次のその試合がですね、また同じ相手との試合になるわけなんですが、はい、今回、福選手のこの試合へのアプローチ方法って変えたりしますか？それともまあ基本的には変わらず、まあ、あとはその斉藤選手が作戦を変えてきたり、違うことをやってきたりするかもしれないっていうことを予想しながらアプローチするのか、どういうメンタリティでこの試合に、臨みますか？
まあそうですね。まあ相手がやってくることも、チームで、こうやってくるんじゃないかっていうのを考えて、練習もしてきました。で、まあ僕の中でも、次の試合ってすごく違う展開になるかなと思ってるんで、まあ僕もいろいろ、練習してきました。いろんな練習をしてきましたね。はい。ちょっとまあ詳しくは言えないんですけど、はい。
Yeah, I can't really give out all the details, but yes, I've been working on some different things. You know, me and my team, we've been discussing what Saito could probably bring differently to the table. And me, myself, I believe that this fight is going to have a different, it's going to end up being a different fight than the first fight. That's how I think. And I think, you know, me and my team also think that Saito is going to bring a different game plan. I've been working on some different things. So, you know, I expect this fight to be something totally different.
Yeah, for sure. And just, it was very intriguing to speak after the initial Rizin fight and everything like that. Just talking about the, I guess, you know, grandiose nature of getting out there on Rizin's big stage, like how you feel certain jitters, but settle into comfortability in the ring. Is Juntaro looking forward to like reacquainting himself with that feeling and getting back into the fold there?
ライジっていう舞台はまあ非常にこう大きくて派手で華やかな舞台だと思うんですけれども、はい、まあそれ一発目でタイトルマッチという、風になったわけなんですけれども、はい、まあ、今回1戦目で初防衛戦という、ことになるんですが、はい。やっぱり牛久選手ご自身としてやっぱりライジンの舞台にまた立つっていうことに対してのこうモチベーションだったりこう楽しみだったりするものもありますか？
いやーもう本当楽しみでしかないですよね。はい。もうあんな華やかな素晴らしい団体で戦えることをすごく本当に光栄に思いますね。
Yeah, I'm nothing but excited and motivated to be back in the Rizin ring. It's just the whole atmosphere, the production, it's something completely different. So for me to be back, given this opportunity to be back on that stage, it's nothing but motivating, and I'm extremely excited about it.
And there also must be a lot of, you know, enthusiasm. I didn't want to say pride to make it sound like I was making a joke, but I mean just the love for Pride and Dream and all of those kind of shows, and now being a champion fighter yourself, ready to compete on a huge show in Japan. I imagine that's kind of a surreal feeling, one filled with a lot of pride, I would think.
ご自身がこうドリームだったりプライドを見てここに憧れて今回じゃあライジンのチャンピオンになってまた大きな三大タイトルマッチの一つをこう担うような今立場でいられてご自身で今どういう風な感覚ですか？どういう風に受け止めてますか？この現実を。
そ そうですね。まあもちろんこの三大タイトルマッチに出れるっていうことを、まあ本当にこう僕もすごく光栄に思います。で、まあ僕が本当に小さい時から憧れてきたまあ舞台だったので、まあそこに立てるっていうこともすごく楽しみにしていて、まあ本当こう今はなんていうんですかね、こうまた舞台に立てるんだっていうそこのワクワクとか楽しみがすごく強いですね。はい。
Yeah, I'm definitely honored to be take part on such a big event with 3 world titles on the line, and definitely being a part of it. And for me to be stepping on the stage that inherits the Japanese MMA's culture, it's something obviously dream and pride. These are the things that I grew up watching. So for me, it's definitely a surreal experience, and it's very exciting and motivating.
Was this something that he always like envisioned to a degree and dreamed about, like from the time he started like judo at such a young age, like in first grade and everything like that? Was the goal to always like have it like go in a competitive sort of direction, or is it almost like a humbling sort of surreal experience where the love for martial arts has taken him to such great heights?
牛久選手はもう小さい頃からこの舞台に憧れて、やってきて、
はい。
その最終的にはこの大きな舞台に立ちたいという目標があったのか、それともこう格闘技というものをやっていたらおのずとこの大きな舞台の方にこう気づいたらいたと、そういったどっち側の選手ですか？もう目標があってここまでたどり着いたのか、つけばここにいたっていう。
そうですね。まあ僕も格闘技を通してすごく勇気と力をもらったんで、まあ本当にこう僕が今度は絶対強くなって子供たちに夢と感動を与えられる、まあそんなファイターになるっていうのをまあずっと心の中で決めてやってきたので、まあただその時にはまだRizinっていう舞台がなかったので、まあまあでも僕の中で絶対僕が今度は盛り上げる立場になるぞっていうのをずっと心に決めてやってきました。
When I decided to become a professional fighter, I grew up and I was given lots of inspiration and courage and strength from fighters by watching the fighters fight on television. So I've always wanted to become that person to be able to inspire the young kids, and if I could be some kind of a role model to inspire the kids to become better. So back when I started, Rizin didn't exist. So I was doing my best as I could at the time with a given environment. But now that Rizin is here, and now that I'm fighting in Rizin, I really do feel that I'm extra motivated to be able to be that role model, to be able to deliver and inspire and give strength to those people who watch my fights.
That's a great sentiment for sure, and something I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up, because the last time we were talking, we were discussing your affinity for riding motorcycles as a hobby, and I suggested maybe you could come out on a motorcycle for a Rizin entrance, and you seemed quite enthusiastic about that idea, and you were like, I'm not sure if Rizin would let me do it though. Have you spoken to Rizin? Are we gonna see you riding out on a motorcycle for this one? I'd love to see that for sure.
前回インタビューさせていただいたときに、牛久選手がこうバイクが好きだということを聞いて、
はい。
バイク見ながら花道入場っていう演出はどうだと聞いたら、多分Rizinさんが許してくれないんじゃないかということをおっしゃっていたんですが、その後、Rizinに打診はしてみましたか？今回、例えばハーレーで乗って入場っていうのはありえますかね？
いやー、まあ僕の中ではやってみたいなっていうすごく気持ちが強いんですけど、ちょっとまだ聞くっていうことまではできてないですね。
It's something that I'm very interested in, and it's something that I would love to do someday. But I still have to gather up my courage to ask Rizin about the idea. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, maybe once you get a couple of title defenses under you, maybe that'll galvanize the cause a little bit more.
Rizin のベルトを何度も防衛して、発言権がRizinに対するレバレージが出てきたら、 もうぜひ言ってみても条件の一つとして提示してみてもいいんじゃないでしょうか。
いやそうですね。なんでまあ僕も本当にそれをモチベーションに頑張ります。めちゃくちゃ。
I will definitely use that motivation so that I can earn leverage to talk to Rizin about my walkouts or riot outs.
Yeah, no doubt. Hopefully we see that one day. But I mean, some great insights given, and I appreciate Juntaro coming on the show for sure. But definitely want to be, considerate to his schedule. So, is there anything he might want to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up here?
今日、牛久選手、本当にこの番組にちょっとゲストとして来ていただいて、本当にありがたく思っています。そろそろ終わりにするんですが、何か牛久選手の方から海外のファンに向けて何か伝えたいこと、見てもらいたいものがあれば、ご自由に発言してください。
そうですね。次の試合、また前回とは違った一面を見せれると思うので、本当に楽しみにしていてください。そして僕の牛久潤太郎っていう、雷神には人間がいるんだぞっていうアピールもしていきたいと思いますので、皆さん、今後ともよろしくお願いします。
Yeah, so thank you everybody for your support. I assure you that the next fight is going to be a totally different fight from the first fight, and I want you to show that Rizin has a great fighter named Juntaro Ushiku. So I really want you guys to see that, and I really want you to see the entire event and my fight. So please wait for it. Stay tuned. Thank you.
It's going to be an incredible fight and an incredible card by proxy at Rizin 35, which goes April the 17th there. And very excited to see the rematch between Juntaro Ushiku and Yutaka Saito. And again, to reiterate, thanks so much to Juntaro for coming on the show, and just, really looking forward to checking out his next fight there.
牛久選手、本当に今日はお時間いただきありがとうございました。斉藤選手の試合楽しみにしてますので、ぜひ気をつけて頑張ってください。今日はありがとうございます。
こちらこそありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。